If I could show you one simple reason why your life hasn't changed as much as you hoped, even though you start things with excitement, would you want to know it? Because the truth is, your life could look completely different right now if you consistently finish the important things you start. Not more goals, not more ideas, not more motivation, just finishing. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why most people give up halfway. What's really happening in your brain when that excitement disappears, and how to finally build the ability to follow through without forcing yourself or burning out. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they never learn how to finish. Think about your own life for a moment. How many projects have you started with genuine excitement? A business idea, a fitness plan, a book, a YouTube channel, a course, a new habit. At the beginning, everything feels possible. You're energized. You imagine how different your life will be once it's done. And then, something happens. The excitement fades, progress slows, resistance shows up. You start missing days, then weeks. And eventually you quietly stop. Not with a dramatic decision, just with avoidance. And what hurts isn't just the unfinished project. It's the growing belief that you can't trust yourself to follow through. Psychologist and human performance researcher Peter Holland explains that the ability to finish what you start is the single most important skill for creating the life you actually want, instead of settling for the life you end up with by default. Because every unfinished project leaves something behind. A little frustration, a little self-doubt, a little less confidence in yourself. And over time, that adds up. So what's really going on when you start strong but can't make it to the end? According to Holland, finishing anything meaningful depends on four essential elements working together. Not motivation, not willpower alone. Four pillars. And if even one of them is weak, the whole thing collapses. The first pillar is focus, but not the kind of focus people usually think of. Real focus isn't just concentrating when you sit down to work. It's the ability to choose one meaningful direction and ignore everything else. Here's a simple example. Let's say you want to write a book. But while you're writing, you get ideas to start a podcast, then a side business, then freelance work, then a new social media strategy. All good ideas, all exciting. But every new idea pulls energy away from the one thing that actually matters right now. Focus means saying no, not forever, but until you finish what you started. Most people don't lack talent. They lack commitment to one direction long enough to see results. The second pillar is self-discipline, and this one is deeply misunderstood. Self-discipline isn't about forcing yourself through misery. It's about building systems that remove the need for constant decision-making. Think about someone who wants to work out consistently. If they rely on motivation every morning, they'll fail. But if they schedule workouts like appointments, lay out their clothes the night before, and go at the same time each day, discipline becomes automatic. When self-discipline is strong, you don't ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" You just do what you already decided matters. The third pillar is action. This sounds obvious, but it's where most people get stuck. They live in what can only be described as planning purgatory. They research, they optimize, they prepare, but they don't act. Think about someone who wants to start a YouTube channel. They spend months studying cameras, lighting, algorithms, thumbnails, scripts, but they never upload the first video because action feels risky. Action exposes you to imperfection, to judgment, to failure. But here's the key insight. Action creates momentum, and momentum makes everything else easier. You don't think your way into clarity, you move your way into it. The fourth pillar is persistence. And no, persistence is not grinding endlessly through pain. Real persistence is flexibility. It's staying committed to the outcome while being willing to change the method. If you're learning a language and flashcards aren't working, persistence means trying conversation practice or immersion, not quitting entirely. Obstacles aren't signs you should stop. They're information. When these four pillars work together, focus, self-discipline, action, and persistence, finishing becomes possible. But most people unknowingly sabotage themselves before they even begin. Holland calls these inhibiting tactics. They look like normal planning, but they quietly guarantee failure. Things like setting vague goals, trying to change everything at once, Working on important tasks only when you're already exhausted. These tactics protect you from discomfort. If the goal is unclear, failure is ambiguous. If the plan is overwhelming, quitting feels justified. Then there are deeper psychological barriers. Fear of failure, perfectionism, low confidence, lack of clarity. Fear of failure shows up as procrastination. Perfectionism shows up as endless tweaking. Low confidence whispers, "Who are you to think you can finish this?" These aren't character flaws. They're learned patterns, often formed to protect you. But protection comes at a cost. So how do people who finish actually think? Holland identifies 4 mindsets that change everything. The first is believing that finishing anything is worthwhile, not because the task is exciting, but because every finished commitment builds trust with yourself. Small wins matter. Every time you finish, you reinforce the identity of someone who follows through. The second mindset is becoming comfortable with discomfort. Discomfort doesn't mean something is wrong. It usually means you're doing something new. Growth always feels unfamiliar before it feels normal. The third mindset is understanding that real learning only happens at the end. You don't truly know what worked until you finish. Completion turns effort into insight. The fourth mindset is respecting your mental and emotional state. Stress kills persistence. When you're anxious or overwhelmed, your brain prioritizes short-term relief over long-term goals. That's why managing stress isn't separate from productivity. It is productivity. Finally, there's motivation. Most people wait for it. That's the mistake. Sustainable motivation is built, not found. One powerful strategy is pairing effort with enjoyment. Only listening to your favorite podcast while exercising. Working on important projects in a place you enjoy. Another is focusing on process, not outcomes. You can't control results, but you can control effort. And effort builds pride. When you regularly connect your actions to who you want to become, motivation stops being fragile. So here's the truth. People who finish aren't special. They understand how finishing works. They build systems. They expect discomfort. They act before they feel ready. They stay flexible. And they trust that finishing changes who they are. If there's one thing to take from this video, it's this. Your unfinished projects aren't proof that you can't succeed. They're proof that no one ever taught you how to follow through. But now you know, and that changes everything. If this video helped you in any way, don't forget to subscribe. It helps me create more videos like this and continue sharing ideas that actually make a difference. Make sure to like the video, and if you think this message could help someone else, leave a comment and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.